Hey teammates, welcome back to Teaching with Tenia. Today is Tuesday, so happy Tenia Tuesday. I'm so glad you guys are watching this video. And it's been a minute since I talked to you guys. For those of you guys who do not know, I have moved into my new house, so now that the school year is over, very much over, I've had a chance to decorate and put things together. Haven't been able to take you guys along the process as I would have because let me tell you, life been lifing. But let me tell you, that's perfect timing for our verse of the day, which is Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times. I feel like that's so important because you never know when your friends are going through something. So reaching out to people you may not normally talk to, or just pride yourself on being a good friend and treating everyone with kindness, very much kindness, because you never know what people are going through. So yep, that's our verse of the day. And now I want to catch you guys up on my sister came to help me move. So here are some clips of that, along with me picking out my washer and dryer, just all adulting things. I feel like I'm becoming an adult and I am getting excited about these things. So let's roll the clips. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of the behind the scenes of what it takes to be a homeowner. But also one of my housewarming gifts is this book from Tabitha Brown, and it's Cooking from the Spirit, because for the longest I've been wanting to become vegan, but not knowing the recipes and also experimenting with cooking because I have my own kitchen. So I have been meal prepping out of this book. Also, if you guys want a video on systems and routines down below, I'd love to show that for you guys, because I feel like I thrive off of a system, a routine, something that gets me going, and I don't have to think about what I'm doing every day, because I want my time, especially right now, to be super intentional with my friends and family, because let's just say life's been a lot, but we're going to continue to push through, continue to meal plan and have systems and routines, like when you wash clothes or when you clean your house or when it's so many different moving parts. And I feel like if I don't write it down and put a plan in place, then it will just never get done. So I have been fasting lately for breakfast and intermittent fasting specifically. Comment down below if you've done that as well. It's like eating from 12 to 6 are your hours. So like I eat 12 and finish around like 5 or so my food can digest. But out of my cookbook, I've been meal planning some pizza, and it's like this. I used to get HelloFresh a lot, and it was this pizza that was really good on there, so I want to recreate that along with some stuffed peppers, mushrooms, and some veggie quesadillas. And then I love eating like salads for lunch, like Caesar salad, garden salad, salmon salad. I've been enjoying those, but also fueling my body, because you are what you eat, and wealth is health. So if you guys have heard that before, you very much know that you have to be fueling your body very well. So before I go ahead and get done with this video, I went to Lidl, however you pronounce it, for the first time. I've heard people say a bunch of different ways, and I am going to unpack. Boom. Alright, so now I'm going to do a little mini grocery haul for you guys. So the goal is not to overconsume and just eat literally what I need or things that I need. So these are some baby spinach kale, some portobello mushrooms. Ooh, because I saw this is like a substitute for a veggie burger. Of course you could do beans and stuff like that, but I really wanted to try the portobello mushrooms. And it is some oil from France and some lettuce. I always have to have my veggies. These are for my stuffed peppers, Mexican cheese. I make usually like the veggie taco night, along with I like to make my omelets in the morning. Oh, mind you, on Sunday, the other day, what's today? I forget with the summer, but the other day I went to brunch with my friends, including to Feed Into Yourself, because like I said, being around my friends and my family definitely helped me a lot. And it was this beautiful omelet. Ever since I went to Mexico, I've had chokehold on these omelets. So I don't know if you guys have seen that on my stories or if I posted it on YouTube. But also some stuffed sweet potatoes, and then avocados. You can just never go wrong with avocados because they just take forever to ripe, and I like to put that on my toast. And also at that same place, I got this bread. If you toast this with some butter, it's whole wheat, but it has like seeds, and I thought I was allergic to it because I'm allergic to nuts, but it's like oats and stuff, so that's totally fine. And then, oh, my ricotta cheese for my pizza, although I just realized I didn't get my flatbread pizza. I saw this little pickle, these little pickles. My students got me eating those, so I wanted to try one. Also some Impossible ground beef to like put in the tacos, or if I decide to just make some like turkey lettuce wraps. And then for my smoothies, with my kale. I want to start making my green smoothies in the morning. That is all for my meal haul. So now let's put this stuff away. Alrighty, so here's the progress. This should last me like a week. I had some leftover eggs, so we'll see how long this lasts me. I'm still trying to get a gauge of how much I need through a week, or if I can even stretch this out to 2, because I really don't eat that much, but I'm so happy that my fridge is full. Such a blessing. Thankful, thank you, Jesus. Oh, and this is the meal prepping plan that I've been telling you guys about, so definitely get you one so you don't waste any food and you can stop eating out. My goal is to only eat out once a week, so this is very, very helpful. So now that I have put everything away, I probably meal prep tomorrow, but I absolutely love my house. Like, it's definitely falling in love with it every time I come home. But for those guys who don't know, I had my graduation party, and I also graduated with my master's, and the decorator did this. How cute! Of my baby pictures and my 2 favorite people, and then just some other grad photos, and it's like so cute. So they don't match my decor at all. Yeah, so it doesn't match my decor at all because I'm going for like a boho natural look, but I don't want to also get rid of them. For those guys who do not know, I did just finish my 2nd year of teaching, and I know I have learned a lot that I'm taking with me into my 3rd year, but I have been reflecting on this podcast talking about being where your feet are. Now, this could be super hard to digest. I'm still learning myself. To be honest, God's teaching me that lesson right now. Be planted and be fully submerged in the blessings and take in the slow moments that I've prayed for, but also what I've always wanted, which is a dream come true, to be a teacher. And now I'm going into my 3rd year, which is absolutely crazy. So as I reflect, I do believe a good practice of a good teacher is reflecting on your practices and what you could have done, things that you've done good, things that you haven't done good, and just continuing to build your practice as a teacher and an educator, because trust me, our babies deserve good qualified teachers for the job. The first thing we're going to compare to my 1st year of teaching as opposed to my 2nd year of teaching is the curriculum. I was so by the book to get through the curriculum because I did not want my babies to not be prepared for the test, and I know that if I did not teach this, they were going to suffer. That's how I felt my 1st year. As opposed to my 2nd year, I had the most creative fun with my lessons because I know where they needed to be, and I had that knowledge to how to get them there. Like, yes, you can backwards design all day long, but when you've taught the lessons, if you've been through the school year, then you know that that curriculum is not for you to follow to the T. To be honest, if you do follow you to the T, I can guarantee you that your students are not learning to the best of their ability. And I had to work on my craft as a teacher. Okay, this is what the standard is. This is what my students need to know and be able to do. How can I, as the educator, this is why teachers can never, and I mean never, be replaced with robots, because being able to build relationships, pique my students' interest, and combine that love of learning along with the neighborhood that we're in and the abilities that they have and what they're supposed to be able to do, it's a lot as a teacher. This is why we're overstimulated and driving ourselves crazy all the time. But nonetheless, we do it for our babies. So in my 1st year, like I said, I was so by the book, and then I didn't even get to teach my level 3 curriculum because of previous teachers and teachers behind me. We're not going to get into that. But this 2nd year, I was able to combine and fill in the educational gaps with level 2 foundations and level 3 foundations. So I was super proud about that. And now I get to review some level 2 foundations. I don't have to teach it to fidelity and really teach level 3 to fidelity this year, which I am super excited about. The second thing is the students. One thing that I have learned as a teacher is you cannot compare students. Everybody is different. Everybody is in their own way. Everybody has their own unique gifts and talents. And I have to continue to tell myself that. This student may not be like this student because of their background, how they were raised, their home situation, or even being prepared to come to the table to learn. Everybody has different needs. That's why I really don't believe in equality, because every student does not need everything. Instead, I believe in being equitable so that every student has what they need. And in new leaders, which if you've watched my vlogs, my principal gave me the opportunity to invest and participate in new leaders, and it's stuck in my head so much. Need according to need. In small groups and whole groups, as you deal with behavior problems, it's need according to need. Some students, just like similar to parenting, you may have to look at a kid sternly and say, don't do that. Or a kid just may need to go into the cool out corner, or needs to be right up under you, close proximity, because they just don't get that at home, or they just need someone on them constantly. So every student is different, and I've learned, to be honest, my first group of students, let me tell you, those babies will always, all my babies will have a special place in my heart. But I don't know, something about that first group. And this group of students challenged I just posted this on Instagram, challenged every single part of me and made me grow as a person. But also, every tool in my toolkit was used, and I feel like that's how I was able to become Teacher of the Year and have the data that I gained based off of constantly being flexible and adapting to students' needs according to needs. All right, and the third thing is classroom management. Let me tell you, my chips worked for my first group of babies. This second year of teaching, the chips went out the window. I had behaviors that I never would have thought I would have seen nor heard. And as a teacher, it's important to make sure that you are good before you can pour out of an empty cup or pour into anybody else's children, because it was some days that I did not know if I was going to make it myself. So therefore, my classroom management had to change. Because I tell my students all the time, I have my teaching license. I worked hard for my degree. When it's in your classroom, you can do whatever you want to do in your classroom. But my job as a teacher is to help everybody learn to the best of their ability. So therefore, we had a lot of heads down. We had a lot of silent lunches. But also, my students learned. My students got what they needed. And I feel like society, this kind of goes into parenting, but when students know that you care and you have structure in your classroom, I don't care if you can act a fool in somebody else's class down the hall. In this classroom, my students knew that this is how we behave, this is the code of conduct, and this is the standard. You're either going to raise yourself to that standard or pick a consequence or whatever we decided. And of course, I also had to teach my students that everything's not going to be fair. Everyone is not going to get the same punishment, because this student, I could take away resource all day long for him. He's going to continue doing the same thing over and over. Then in my teacher classroom management strategy, I need to hit you where it hurts. Lunch. You want to sit here all day long, which we don't have our work done. And I feel like having parents, most parents, not all parents, come along and unfortunately discipline their child with me. And once they saw that we were on the same team, it was very, very beneficial. And it was nice to see most, not all of those behaviors dissipate or disappear after spring break and when I got back from my trips, because those trips were very much needed. So that's classroom management in my first year, my second year. Now let's talk about the parents. I kind of already touched on this, but my first year parents were, mind you, I did basically the same thing. I'm very not communal, but very hands-on with my parents. I know everyone says not to give out your phone number. To teacher's discretion is advised. I have not had no one cross that teacher boundary. Like, of course, some parents may call outside of hours, but for the most part, most parents respected that I was a teacher. And then if their child needed something, they needed to get in contact with their child, or even if I had to send home positive and negative reports, my parents were very much on it this year. Sending back packets, getting in missing work. That I will say kudos to my second year. As opposed to my first year teaching, it was like, what are parents at? To be honest, I was like, what in the world's going on here? But nonetheless, we got through it. And you just have to adapt or find different ways. Like if we were at a basketball game or we were going on a field trip, to just talk to that parent, update them there. or even inviting them into parent-teacher conferences, even though parents are not, I would say my first year parents, I had to reach out to them, as opposed to this year, a lot more parents were reaching out to me, and just had to be flexible in that regard. Now, I do over the summer want to think about how I will be handling next year, because I do want a constant communication, multiple touch points in the educational process to make sure that children are not falling behind and slipping through the cracks. Alrighty, so the fifth thing I want to talk about is the system as a whole. Now, I have come to the realization that we're not going to be able to fix the education system all by yourself. There are many pros about the education system as a whole, and there's a lot of negatives about it as a whole. But I feel like as a African American teacher in city schools, that I owe, and I speak for my children, we all deserve better. But are we going to harp on those? No. We have the opportunity, just like I tell my students, to create the change that we want, to make alive the dream of how we would want to communicate with each other, have all the resources we need in school. Now, my first year was drastically different than my second year of teaching, because we got a huge partnership, and that partnership has brought resources. And as a person with a YouTube channel, just to bring light to the masses and just to let everybody know, part of the educational team, that unfortunately, unless you are, as parents, advocating for your kids or have partnerships or people coming alongside you, you cannot do this work alone. You cannot push the agenda and scream from the rooftops what our baby needs unless you have partnerships. So my first year, we were hot and sweaty in our school. We had no AC. And I want you to imagine, just imagine for 1 second, if anybody could just imagine, there are still schools with no AC. Like, you have to be kidding me. Do you want to send your baby to school like that? Now, I'm getting on my high horse because it hurts me to my core. The inequities and the injustices that we see. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about this. My second year, we got AC after spring break. And it was crazy because I will never forget this, because it was so hot that we had to go home. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That you could go home and lay your head on your pillow at night knowing those babies are in there sweating. Needless to say, once we got the support and the pushback that we needed behind us, we're not asking for anything that you want to ask for your kids. It's just like human common decency. And Dr. D, who is a coworker at the school, she has shown me that how much you care about your students, whether it's known or unknown. You're telling them by how you treat them, how you talk to your kids, you're telling them their value. And every human, no matter if they're big, little, small, tall, wide, whatever, you are a human, you are loved by God, therefore you should be treated as such with human decency and respect. And the fact that when I was taught my undergrad, Dr. D told me, was basically having your classroom environment lets your students know that you love them. That's your first time that you love them to them. I don't care if that school was tore from the floor. My classroom was in check. My classroom was inviting, and focusing on things that I can control, as opposed to what this person not doing, what this person not doing, what this school has, what this school doesn't have, and comparing apples to oranges. God had to convict and humble me and say that He has a school system. It's my job to be faithful and diligent in this process. So I'm glad to say that my first year in the school system, public education at that, was way better in my second year. And I just pray and hope and pray that the years leading up will get better and better and better. I know change does not happen overnight, but what I do know is that people do what they want to do. People control what they want to control. People usually do things to benefit them. But at one point, for 1 second, I just want you to think about the students, their lovely faces, and the things that they need and the resources they have. Okay, done with that topic. The last and final one is me as a teacher. I kind of touched on this also. How have I changed as a teacher? My first year, I was bright and bushy-tailed, ready to go change the field of education, right? I feel like that's what I've been called to do. And of course, that may shift throughout my career. But I'm not gonna lie, my second year, I saw the ins and outs of why teachers quit, why teachers give up, and why we can't do this. And everybody has different tolerance levels. For me, have can say that I have built up my teacher boundaries. And I'm so proud of myself for that, because I struggled from like October of my first year of teaching to October of my second year of teaching. Just doing everything or feeling like I had to carry the weight on my own. If someone asked me to do something, if someone asked me for help, like I'm willing to give a helping hand, but not at the expense of my health, mentally, physically, mentally, emotionally. So I'm proud to say that I have changed in that. Just being able to speak up in ways that now that I know the system, now that I see how my students are being played, we're going to play the game before it plays you. And just like in the scriptures, it says the first that should be last and the last shall be first. Because God don't play about my students, God don't play about me and our calling on our life. I feel like also just growing up with my house, and from living in this apartment to graduating, and then also getting more knowledge in my master's degree program. This second year was more about my master's degree program, and I've learned a lot of knowledge in school leadership and the way things are supposed to be done. And our babies deserve the best of the best. So the goal is to give it to them, and me as a teacher, shifting things in my life to make sure that, okay, I know I'm going to be the best third grade teacher, now lead teacher, that I could be for them. So I'm super excited about next year. Comment down below some things that you learned that you didn't know in your first year, that you knew in your second year, or something that you are looking forward to implementing in this next year of teaching. I love you guys so much. I hope this video was inspiring, or just, to be honest, to hear my thoughts. I love doing versus like this versus that videos, because we're constantly growing and changing, and if we don't reflect on where we've come from, we're bound to repeat the same mistakes and not learn from them. And like I tell my babies, we learn every day, so don't stop learning. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.